I see you and you see me. Watch you blowing the line when you're making a scene. Oh girl, you've got to know what my head overlooks. The senses will show. Private eyes, they're watching you. They see your every move. Private eyes, they're watching you. Private eyes, watching you.
Hello!
Hello!
Welcome to episode 12
1-2.
of LMNOP.
The podcast.
The podcast.
Not the movie.
Nope.
You can't see us. Can only hear our voluptuous voices.
It's not what that means.
It is today.
Okay, I'm convinced. LMNOP, of course, the podcast about the best show on television,
Last
Elementary.
Man on Earth.
Didn't you already say that?
No. I misidentified it as Last Man Standing. So technically, these are two different shoutouts. But more importantly, back then, 2 whole episodes ago of this podcast, I was like 40 episodes ago in Last Man Stand on Earth.
Uh-huh.
I was on the pilot, and it was a bold claim. Mm-hmm. And I said that. Mm-hmm. But turns out I'm wicked smart, because it's a fantastic show.
Okay, but you're still incorrect.
Well, how?
Because the best show on television that's ever been aired is the show we're doing a podcast about, Elementary.
Elementary! That is
Elementary.
a good show!
It's a very good show. We just watched it.
Uh-huh.
And I liked it.
I enjoyed it. Thoroughly.
The episode that we watched was season 1, episode 12, M.
Period.
And I am your host, Val Flight Cub, aka V. Period.
I'm your resident dung beetle, Alec, a.k.a. A. From Pretty Little Liars. I'm A.
It's you.
It's me. It was me. Yeah, it was fun. I was just like writing little notes, making people think I was gonna kill them.
Yeah, you kind of fucked up people's lives, didn't you?
It was all fun and games.
I never saw that show, though.
I read the first book.
Okay, well, we're not talking about Pretty Little Liars anymore.
Okay.
Unless there happen to be little pretty liars in the show of Elementary.
There are. There actually is. Sherlock's a big liar this episode.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. He is. Did you like this episode?
I did. I really did.
I did too. Balto is trying to get past the fortress that we have created so that he cannot tip and tap and crunch and munch in the background of this episode. So if you hear any fortress breaking attempts, that's what that sound is.
The people are going to be like, I've been hearing tips and taps this entire time.
Because he's been tipping and tapping trying to get in.
Yeah.
He is
Relentless.
So let's talk about the Elementary episode.
Real quick, I'm just saying, if we got another dog for him to play with, we wouldn't...
They would make twice as much noise.
We wouldn't be bothered.
They would make twice as much noise.
They would go play with each other.
They would chase each other around on the hardwood floors.
It would be so cute, though.
It would be very cute and very loud.
Okay.
So let's talk about Elementary instead of Balto.
Let's do it.
By lack of popular demand, because I think if anyone asked for anything, it would be more Balto content.
Yeah, well, new podcast coming soon.
Is he making a podcast?
Uh-huh.
Oh, what's it called?
But he's doing it all on his own.
What's it called?
It's the Podcast.
Like Paw.
Like Paw.
He's like Dog with a Blog, but it's podcast.
Yeah.
So episode 12, M. This starts with a soccer game being played on somebody's TV.
Football.
Goal. But while this is happening, a creepy guy in leather gloves and stuff is like being creepy and killing or something. He's doing something creepy.
Yeah, there's a dude that's wrapped up, roped up.
He's taped up. He's probably scraped up. This guy on the floor.
Yeah.
He's clearly a victim of something.
He's been cruised and bruised.
I don't think that he cruised for the bruising that he got.
Oh no, I saw a pamphlet, Scientology, on the coffee table. When you become a Scientologist, it's called being cruised. I don't make the rules. Don't look at me like that.
Are you making this up now?
So there's a scary bald man.
Very Shakespearean of you, Alec, to just make up a word.
Bald is a real word.
You're right. So he's the scary bald man. He's watching the TV and he's creating a tripod thing that's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And he's got this crank wire rope thingy that he clips onto the guy's feet, the tape the feet tape. The guy's feet tape.
Rope and duct tape. Mm-hmm. And now a hook. Attached to a tripod.
Mm-hmm. And he cranks the... He cranks
A little creaky.
Cranks the guy up to the top of the tripod, and he's hanging by his feet. And then he leans in with his knife to the guy's throat. And you know what happens.
I don't.
They cut away.
Oh.
But you know.
Away is the name of this guy's throat.
Oh. Wish he had been able to free Punchy and Grabber so that he could fight this guy. That's the name of his arms.
His not his hands. His arms are Punchy and Grabber.
Yeah.
What are his hands' names? Philip and James. But James is spelled with an AI. Anyway, he's dead, and then we cut away to...
We cut away to the bees.
We cut throat to bees.
Bees.
Buzz.
Joan says, Sherlock, what are these bees doing in here? And Sherlock says, they're buzzing.
Cue studio laughter. Cue dolphin laughter.
What they were actually doing was they were just being.
Oh, honey.
I had a lot of warm-up from the 0 to 0 episode that we did where there was a lot of bee puns. And by bee puns, I mean I said the bee part of a word, of every word that I said.
Was there a bee superhero?
No, there's a bee supervillain. Bee Sting.
Oh, no!
Yes. She, well, you have to listen to the episode to find out what happens. Or you can watch Who Wants to Be a Superhero. But season 2, you have to pay for on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, so... If you don't have $10, better just listen to 0 to 0.
Dang.
The other podcast I'm on. What were we talking about? Is this a podcast about podcasts?
Yeah, you have a Patreon or something I can donate to?
No.
Okay.
No, if you wanted to watch the episode, the TV show on YouTube, you have to pay.
Yeah, but you have to watch the TV show to do a podcast about it, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we just have a generous patron of Sam.
Huh.
Paid $10 one time.
Cool.
And we just all share in his fortune.
Gotcha. It's amazing that he dished out $30 for each of you to get your own account.
Yep, that's what we did. So, Sherlock's being a wise guy.
Yeah.
Joan is like, okay, but why are the bees in here at all? And he's like, well, you're moving out in just a few days because your tenure will be over as my sober companion. So, I might put the bees in your room and make it a giant apiary.
You know, I watched this episode with you. Mm-hmm. But apparently my brain was somewhere else because they mentioned an apiary a couple times later in the episode, and every time I was thinking birds.
What about this show has led you to believe that there might be birds in any capacity?
I don't know. That's why I thought it was weird. I was like, why would Sherlock turn Joan's room into a bird cage?
Do you know the name for a bird sanctuary?
An aviator.
Yes.
With Leonardo DiCaprio.
It's not an apiary. It's an a priori. From the logic terms? Nope. Okay,
Apricot.
So Joan is like, Sherlock, you know, you're right, my tenure is almost over. So we should have a goodbye dinner, a little exit interview kind of thing, where we talk about our feelings and our thoughts.
You know, combining all of Sherlock's greatest loves.
Mm-hmm. Eating food.
Eating food, talking about his feelings.
Doing something other than detecting. Yes. And Sherlock's like, there's this thing called X-formation, okay? He says that 90% of the communication between people is haptics. So he's like, you can just blink at me. I'll know what you mean. When you cross your arms and then you uncross them and then you cross them again. You know? He knows what that means. So he doesn't want to do it, but she's like...
It'd be fun.
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice. It's our last meal together.
Just humor me.
Last supper.
And Sherlock's like, can I just get a report card? And Joan is like, I'm going to send your dad a report card. Don't worry. And... Sherlock is like, oh, maybe he'll put me on the he'll put it on the fridge. Just kidding, he doesn't have a fridge because he eats
My dad doesn't
bugs.
eat. Oh, yeah, he only eats bugs.
He doesn't eat food.
No,
He eats bugs.
bugs and bolts because he's a robot.
Why would he eat bugs then?
Because he's a reptile.
For fun.
He just likes it. Okay.
So anyway, they get called away to a crime scene.
Which one? The one we saw?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, the victim is probably this guy, John Vicker. Or no, Ian Vicker. Whatever.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
He's dead.
It super doesn't matter at all. But they're like, what do you mean pretty sure? And so they go to the crime scene, and there's no body. There's just a bunch of blood. And I wrote in my notes, there's no body, but no body. Because I think I got distracted in the middle of writing my note.
Well, there's certainly no body.
But there's a huge pile of blood.
Like a body full of blood without the body.
Like body of water, but it's blood.
Yeah, like somebody lost their blood here.
Yeah, exactly. And Sherlock is kind of looking spooked.
Yeah.
And Joan is like, hey, are you okay? And Sherlock says he's tall and strong because he set up a tripod device to hang the person upside down. And he had a hook.
For a hand. It was Captain Hook.
It was Captain Hook. And Joan is like, wow, that was a lot of deductions for like 2 seconds. And he was like, it was actually 0 deductions.
What?
Because he's seen this before.
Oh no.
From London.
Oh no.
Uh-huh.
Serial killer.
So yeah, it's this serial killer. So they go back to the police station, and Sherlock is doing a little presentation. And he's got his little pointer. He doesn't have a pointer. I wish he did, though. One of those little extendo things.
He put on his professor bow tie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's wearing the same outfit that he always wears, but it looks more professor-y because he has a bow tie.
He would look good in a shirt, vest, and bow tie.
Yeah, of course. Oh, no jacket.
No.
Yeah, he'd look good in anything. That's not true. Pale yellow shirt and dark gray dress vest is a harsh look, I think, on anyone. So Sherlock says this serial killer, he has no victim type, so it's impossible to pin him down.
You know, he's like a game of Monopoly, you know, the ages 12 to 87.
Mm-hmm. There's a top limit to Monopoly?
Yeah, 88-year-olds, they just can't handle it. They go, whew.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rude of Monopoly.
It's rude of 88-year-olds.
To not
be able to handle their Monopoly. Ruin everyone's good time.
Do you know about Monopoly?
No, what?
There's like Miss Monopoly.
Uh-huh.
And so I wonder if that one is like for women ages 11 to 89. You know, a little more inclusive.
Uh-huh. But
also exclusive.
Yeah. Well, women mature infamously 1 year sooner than other people.
Mm-hmm.
And they hold off the anti-Monopoly gene for an extra year. 90-year-old women, though, can't play Monopoly with them.
But yeah, so he's got a lot of victims. I was like, what are we talking about?
37 victims.
37. 21 of the victims' bodies have been recovered, and 16 have not.
Recovered from the ocean.
Yeah. What do you think the bodies looked like? Do you think they looked normal again because, like, all their blood was gone, but then they got refilled with water?
Oh, I never even once considered that. But now it's all I can think about.
Pretty gross.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, there's a bunch of other stuff in the human body besides blood. Mm-hmm. But it would definitely be, like, flattened.
Ugh.
It'd be smushed.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like a deflated human.
Like a raisin.
Yeah. Like a 90-year-old woman that just finished a game of Monopoly.
But when you rehydrate a raisin, it doesn't become a grape. Trust me, I would know.
I've never tried.
It's a very deeply unsatisfying.
How'd you rehydrate? Just leave it in water overnight?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you like inject it with a needle?
No. Why would I do that?
Get it right in there.
Osmosis does the job just fine.
Okay. Well, apparently not, because you didn't get grapes.
That's true. You're right. Well, so maybe they're like that, or maybe they're a different thing. But anyway, so the bodies either turn up or they don't, but the way that they die is that they get exsanguinated. All of their blood drips out of them, hence the being upside down and the cutting the...
Debloodified.
Debloodified. And they found 12 pints of Ian Vickers' blood at the
Which
crime
is
scene.
just crazy, because the normal human body has 10 to 11. Mm-hmm. So this upside down killing process, it gets all of it and more. Mm-hmm. You know, I did have a thought where I was like, that's probably not just blood. There's also probably, like, pee in there. Just saying, if someone hung me upside down, I'd wet myself.
Well, you'd be dead, though. Or are you saying you'd pee immediately?
Immediately. As soon as I am tied up, I'm peeing.
Or is it the upside down part? Can you do a handstand without peeing on yourself?
Yeah, but it's not as fun.
So the other thing that Sherlock reveals about M is that M likes to leave, like, notes behind for the police and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like typical serial killer, letters cut out of a magazine, notes.
Mm-hmm. They're very, like, cleanly done Like they're always they're always put on a like white piece of paper, and they take up exactly as much room as they need.
There's no glue residue on the sides of the letters.
And Sherlock thinks that these letters are actually a feint. So they're not something that he likes to do or cares about doing, but he does them so that because they're like rants and stuff.
Yeah.
So he thinks that M does them so that people think he's like a ranty...
It's like putting on a show.
Yeah, but he's actually smart and normal.
Except for the
killing
37
part.
murders.
Yeah. Also, like, do you think he started with that? You think, like, he was, like, a thief, and then he was like, I'm gonna start killing people. How about I make an elaborate tripod device and hang them upside down and then slit their throats and then get rid of the bodies?
Yeah, well, I think, what you gotta remember with serial killers is the 37 is just the 37 we know about. You know, I'm sure there were a few that had gone another way, and then he
hung them sideways.
Yeah, he tried a 5-degree angle.
He hung them by their belly button, and then he cut their ankles and their head. You know, because they hung in a little upside down U shape.
Yeah, I mean, really, can't you just have them normal side up and cut their feet off? Everything will just drip out the bottom.
True, but your head gets more blood. And your neck is above your head when you're upside down. So how did all that blood get out?
Yeah, your head would soak up a lot of it.
It wouldn't soak it up, it would just be full of it.
Yeah, it soaks it up. A good brain is like a sponge. It just soaks up a bunch of blood.
No, it's not.
My brain is full of blood and I'm fine.
Right. Anyway, so Joan is like, hey, Sherlock, you seem oddly chipper. You're like in a good mood. That we just discovered this serial killer is on the loose in New York City. Because the last thing he said, too, was, like, he kills in bunches. So, like, there are more people that are gonna die.
Yeah.
And Joan was like, why are you, like, happy-ish about this? And Sherlock is like, well, last time I was chasing M, it was, in London, and I was on drugs, and I was totally useless. So, it's really...
Redemption!
Yeah, he's like, it's another chance for me to, get it right. Now that I'm sober.
Yeah.
And the captain is like, oh, so he was in London when you were in London, and now that you're in New York, he's in New York.
And Sherlock's like, I hadn't thought of that. Interesting point. It would be flattering.
Yeah.
If he came all the way out here just to kill for me.
Just to mess with me. So the captain is like, all right, we're not taking any chances. We're going to put a detail at your house. And Sherlock's like, no. And Joan is like, yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So Joan asks to help with the case. Because she's like, oh, I have an appointment, but I can look at the case files while I'm, before I go. And Sherlock is like, actually, you're leaving soon. You should just not look at the case. Yeah, I should try and do it without you, because you've been like a crutch. Mm-hmm. Or like a training wheel. Not a training wheel. She's been like a crutch.
Yeah, he says crutch.
Yeah. I was trying to branch out from what the show said, but training wheel doesn't really work as well.
Yeah, she's been like a crutch, or like a big stick that you use to lean on. But now that stick is being tossed back into the forest where it came from, and Sherlock's gonna be on his own, so he wants to do this on his own.
Mm-hmm. He wants to try. So Joan goes off to her appointment, which is a therapy appointment. And the therapist is like, so you're almost done with your job as a sober companion to Sherlock Holmes. What do you think? And Joan is like, oh, I think he's ready to be done. So, I'm good. And the therapist is like, are you though? Maybe you're not. I mean, you've changed jobs before. Maybe you want to change again and be a detective. You like it. And Joan is like, no, I like what I do now. And the therapist is like, yeah, what you do now is hang out with Sherlock Holmes and solve mysteries.
And that's ending.
So then we cut to M, and there's this, like, sexy lady who's, like, putting on her underwear or whatever. She's gotten out of the shower.
Oh, we don't cut to M. We don't know it's M. We just cut to sexy lady.
Well, then we cut to M.
Yeah, but then she's putting clothes on, and then M shows up in the shot. Mm-hmm. And
it's like,
sneaks up.
Ah!
And then it's like, thank you, pretty lady, and puts the money on the counter. Mm-hmm. And then sits down and watches more football.
Fruit bowl.
He just sits there and looks at the fruit bowl.
Mm-hmm. He's like, why look at a painting of a still life when you can just look at still life?
Yeah. He's just naming all of the fruits to himself. Banana. That's what he sounds like. Meathead.
Peach. Apple. Strawberry.
I don't think you should put strawberries in a fruit bowl.
Pear.
I don't think they hold well.
No, yeah. I mean, they'd have to be on the top.
Yeah.
Like a little garnish to your fruit bowl.
Eat them quick.
Puh. That's how he says pear.
Pah.
Puh. Because he's British.
Yeah.
And she's like, so, baby, you want to have another go? Ooh. And he's like, football's playing.
The game's on.
Game's on. Get out of here. She's like, you've been such a lovely customer. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye, baby.
Pleasure working with you, as always.
It's uncomfortable the way she says baby.
She says it a lot, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like very clearly like she doesn't know his name.
Yeah.
Baby. Yeah. Then he gets a very coded text. He gets a text in wingdings.
Oh, you didn't understand it?
No.
A delta squiggly bird hieroglyphic? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You want to decode it for me, or?
Yeah, it said pear. It was a grocery shopping list, obviously.
So yes, he gets this wingdings grocery list, and he types back a little response, NMU, in the coded language, you know. And then he gets out this little teeny Ziploc bag. He opens up, and he dumps out the contents of.
It's like little letters. He's gonna make a note.
And the letters are like cut out already.
Yeah, already cut out letters, and it's just like a small bag of them. It's not like there's like a dozen of each letter. Mm-hmm. He's gonna craft this message. Mm-hmm. Seems to be very well organized.
Yeah. It's like he didn't go on like Amazon.com and buy like the jumbo bag of assorted magazine letters.
Yeah. It's like he had a craft night. He can grab some of his favorite magazines, well read, but he didn't want them anymore.
You know what I bet he has too? Really small scissors.
Well, you got it.
Huge and hunched over these little tiny scissors. Well, he cuts
I think any scissors in this massive man's hands gonna look tiny, so even tinier scissors would be adorable.
We can't endear ourselves to this man. He's a killer.
An adorable murderer.
No, he's not cute. It's not cute to kill people.
Actually, you know what he looks like? He looks like every villain in like a B movie. Mm-hmm. That you just like generic bad guy.
Yeah, he's like rough,
Yeah.
tall,
Like ooh.
British.
Yeah. It's like when the hero beats up a room full of grunts. The final guy that he has to beat up, he walks over to and punches in the gut and it has no effect on him. Mm-hmm. It's this dude.
Yes. He's not the like final boss, but he's the last grunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So Sherlock and Joan go to the morgue because they have found Ian Vickers' body. So Sherlock tells her he was found in this spot, and so that means he was dumped somewhere in Manhattan or something.
Yeah, it makes sense because of, tidal waves and moon phases.
It's got nothing to do with moon phases.
Moon moves water.
It has nothing to do with that.
Moon water.
So Joan says that she thinks it's probably from the Navy Yard, because the Brooklyn Navy Yard, it's the Navy Yard. Joan thinks it's from the Navy Yard because he's got oil in his hair, and there was a lot of oil spill in the Navy Yard. And Sherlock is like, and he goes to the guy's head and sniffs it. And he's like, well, you're right. You're probably right.
He's like, there's a lot of oil in this guy's hair just because he's a greasy man, but there's additional oil as well. Mm-hmm. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Crude oil actually is really, really good for when you have like black hair and you want to spike it up.
Yeah.
Really holds well. Mm-hmm. It's very expensive.
It's that all-week hold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Joan says she's going to miss this, and she's still in the morgue. She's like, not this.
Not this.
But, this. I think what you do is amazing, she says to Sherlock. And she's like, I was going to say that at our goodbye dinner, but you're you, so we're probably not going to have one.
Also, you were in the middle of a murder investigation, so...
Yeah.
And you're you, so you're gonna... Yeah.
Not going to take any time off, yeah.
Yeah.
So... Sherlock doesn't really respond, I think.
Yeah, he looks flattered, or that he looks nothing, and I was just projecting. I was like, this is a sweet moment.
Yeah. So now they're headed home from the morgue, and Joan says, oh, we can get delivery. There's only a few places because it's so late, and I wanted to get something from this one place, but you said it was a songbird smuggling front. So not there, I guess? And Sherlock is like, Joan, shut the fuck up.
Why?
Because the living room is a crime scene.
What? Mm-hmm. Who?
Well, M.
Why?
There's a letter in the living room on the table.
It's M.
It's from M.
The letter is M. It's just a giant M.
There's a letter M.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yes. So dang. M was in there.
Uh-oh.
So they call the police, the CSU and stuff, to check it out.
Yeah, they call the police outside their front door.
Oh, right.
They're sitting there and they're like, hey, you guys fucked up.
Hey, dumb holes. So I didn't write down the, contents of the letter, but the letter is basically like, haha, you think you're smart, but you're not. I'm smart, and you're dumb.
Man makes plans, God laughs. You're man, I'm laughing.
In this...
Haha, he.
In this metaphor, I'm God, and you're the man.
But also, literally, I'm cool, and you're drool.
I am from Venus and you're from Mars. Wait, no. I went to... What is the thing?
So, I went to college! It's just a very whiny tone.
That's all the letter says.
Yeah.
I
went to college! M.
Which I think in Britain means something else. It's not as impressive.
Yeah, that's elementary school.
I went to Chips.
The pancake place? It's a pancake place in Connecticut. They apparently make really great chocolate chip pancakes.
Oh. Are you lying?
No, that's where Ben would go to when, he got a good grade on something.
Chips.
Good report card, I would go to Bugaboo Creek. He would go to Chips. I guess that's the difference between, a teenager and a 10-year-old. But
What's Bugaboo Creek? The barbecue?
No, it was just like a restaurant, but, it had a big talking buffalo head.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle. I don't know if there was anything special about Bugaboo except for that, but we loved it.
But dang if that head wasn't special.
Yeah, and just like Chili's with a buffalo head.
That talked.
Why doesn't Chili's have a giant talking chili?
It's hard to taxidermy those. They're endangered. Okay, so the police are like, wait a minute. We have this whole detail out front. What the heck? Why? How did he come in?
How'd someone come in here and leave a giant letter M?
And Sherlock is like, there's a back door that I didn't tell you guys about for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess because he didn't really want the detail anyway. But, Joan didn't know about the back door? And it wasn't like, hey, watch the back door also?
Yeah, also shouldn't the police have, checked the perimeter once when they got there and been like, hey, there's a back door?
You'd think. Just a little walkthrough.
Yeah.
All it would take is one of them being like, can I go to your kitchen and get a glass of water? I'm thirsty.
And being like, oh, there's a door back here.
Oh, another door.
I see trees.
This isn't the last time that, somebody uses the back door of the brownstone to, slip out or in, too.
Yeah.
It's this mysterious door that, because it's not in the front of the building,
yeah,
it's hard to...
It's not actually a back door, it's a doorway in a closet.
It's a Narnia situation.
The back door is just a euphemism for it.
Mm-hmm. Because it's in the back of the closet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a door. It is a back door.
It's a door in the back of the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay, well, so you have to go to a safe house because this guy's broken into your apartment now. And Sherlock is like, no, I don't want to. And also I think he says M could have killed us if he wanted to. He doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He wanted to taunt us and tell us he was...
He clearly just wants to be pen pals.
Mm-hmm. He's starting with an M and then he's going to write, what is he spelling out?
My dearest Sherlock.
It's going to take a really long time.
With a comma after dearest. He wrote, my dearest Sherlock.
It's a solid reference. I'll give you that. I will give you that. If he does one letter every day, that's going to be years.
Yeah, it's going to take forever.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he's spelling out, yellow. So the police are telling them to go to a safe house. Sherlock doesn't want to. And he's like, you can put a detail on the back door. How about that? You can bedazzle my butthole. You get it? Put a detail on the back door?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're mad you didn't think of it.
Yeah. That was a gem of a joke.
Thank you. Sherlock says, we're not leaving the brownstone. And Joan is like, I go where he goes, so I'm not leaving the brownstone either. So then once the police leave, Sherlock is looking at this picture of a property. And Joan is like, what you looking at? And Sherlock's like, oh, I'm going to move after we split up. Because the guy just broke into my back door. And Joan is like, I thought you said you weren't worried. And he's like, yeah, I'm not worried about this guy.
But do you know how many enemies I make on a daily basis?
Because I don't. I can't count that high.
It's a lot, though.
It's a lot. And then he's like, hey, is everybody gone? There's nobody in the house? It's just us? Joan's like, yeah, it's just us. And Sherlock goes over to his big book in the library, and he opens it, and there's a hole.
Without Joan seeing.
Without Joan seeing!
He sneaks over to his bookcase, gets the book. There's a hole in the book.
And in the hole
is a tree, and on that tree is the branch, and on the branch is a twig, and on the twig is a nest, and in the nest is an egg. And in that egg is a little GoPro security camera. Covered in feathers.
Covered in feathers, because it's in an egg. Really goopy. So he brushes the goop and the feathers off the camera. He makes a little omelet. It's very funny because he has to spit out the feathers as he eats the omelet. And he goes through the footage of this person breaking in. Because, another thing is, no one has ever seen him before. But now he's got this spy camera footage.
Spy camera. And he's like, he fast forwards till he sees him, and he's like, oh my goodness, it's a tiny Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Huh?
Because he's bald and muscular, but not as bald or muscular as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a pun.
No.
But yes, so Sherlock finally smells what M is cooking. And also while he's looking at this footage, he's wearing, once again, a button-up shirt where he's buttoned all the buttons. And he's got a little vest on. He looks cute.
Okay.
It's just important to note, Our listeners might be thinking, should I watch Elementary along with this show? I don't know. Is it worth looking at? Yes.
Yes, it is.
They're very cute. The cute people, and there's paintings of bees in the background of things.
Yeah.
It's a very striking visual.
I like putting my eyes on it.
Mm-hmm. And also, it's the only way to understand what the opening sequence is, because we're very bad at explaining.
Mousetrap with a marble.
I said the thing goes into a thing, and then there's another thing, and it cuts the thing.
Just like Mousetrap.
It's just like Mousetrap.
I don't know how much clearer we can be about this.
We could be clear at all.
We're as clear as the marble.
No, we're not, because the marble is clear.
Yeah. Not fully.
Once it rolls in the blood, it's not.
Ooh.
Is it blood, or is it even just...
It's honey from the bees.
Because there's a wine glass that's been knocked over in the opening sequence, too.
Yeah, but it's viscous. A wine wouldn't stop a marble.
Oh, yeah, true. Wow. Even we don't know what's going on in the opening sequence. So we've seen it.
Molasses.
That is a substance.
Molasses from the glasses.
Or maybe it's wine that was spilled like several hours ago and it's dried up a lot.
It's a really long mousetrap.
Yeah. So anyway, we got him. Well, Sherlock has found what M's face looks like.
Yeah, so we got his face.
We got his face. And next we see M is stalking someone on the street. He's like watching this woman walk around.
Lady with a doggy.
Lady with a little tiny doggy. Cute little doggy. And he's trying to be all like, secretive and undetected. And this kid comes up to him and he's like, hey man, I got some Fuchi slides. You want to buy this, Fooey Laton bag from me? I got all these DVBs of videos. That's Blu-ray and DVD. You want to buy a, you want to buy a Golce and Labana dress for your lady?
And he's like, no, go away, please. But he says it more aggressively and physically. Mm-hmm. Shoves him away.
Pushes the kid.
Yeah. And then people were like, whoa, did that fully grown man just shove a kid?
And he's like,
This is New York. We won't allow that.
We're gonna look right at that.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, and Emma just walks away briskly.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've been seen. He's on a New York sidewalk, clearly. I mean, surely he's been seen before this. But you can't then do something suspicious after already yelling at somebody in the sidewalk.
Right.
So the woman goes into the, whatever door she was at. The woman escapes, for now.
For now.
So then, Joan gets a knock on the door, and it's a cop, ACAB, and he's got, Fuji Boy. And he's like, this kid was trying to go on your stoop. He's trying to get into your house.
Stoop kid won't leave my stoop.
Yeah. Stoop kid has just entered the stoop.
Oh.
So, he's like, I was looking for Sherlock. And Joan goes, are you really a friend of Sherlock's? And the kid says, no, I'm an associate of Sherlock's. He doesn't have any friends.
She's like, all right, let him in.
Yeah.
He clearly knows Sherlock.
Yep. And he's like, wow, I've never been in here before. And he like picks up a skeleton foot and he's looking at it. Joan's like, don't touch the foot, and takes it from him.
He explains his whole deal. How he met Sherlock. He was hustling people in Central Park, or fucking wherever.
Washington, yeah.
Washington State?
Yeah, in Washington State.
Wow, and then he moved to New York? Wow, it's an American dream. Anyway, he'd distract people and his friend would steal their wallet, and then Sherlock caught him and was like, return everything, but I like your style, so I'm not going to turn you in, but you'll be my little eyes on the street.
Every once in a while.
I'll need things from you. So these are the main difference between BBC Sherlock and CBS Elementary. Is Sherlock uses the unhoused people of London, and Elementary Sherlock just uses child labor.
I mean, the real difference, I think, is that in London, in Sherlock, BBC Sherlock, he uses an internet of unhoused people, of vagrants, and it's like very like kind of mystical almost.
Yeah.
And like you never see them, you never talk to them. He just gets information, and then his way of explaining it is like, the people on the street told me.
Yeah, he's like the mysterious homeless men.
Yeah, whereas CBS Elementary Sherlock makes connections with random people he sees on the street or other places.
Yeah.
And like, this kid has a name. He has a backstory of how he met Sherlock. He has a personality. He has a whole thing, that we learn later. His name is Teddy. Like, it's not, I will tap into the
neural network of the underground.
Yeah, of the vagrancy underground. Yeah, it's just like, oh, hey, you seem like a smart kid. Like, let me help you out.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a human.
Like, yeah. So he asked all of these little humans to go to fancy hotels across New York and look for discount Vin Diesel. And Teddy found him, so he wanted to tell Sherlock and then also get his $300 reward.
Is that what he says?
It's like a few $100s, yeah. He's like, so is Sherlock coming back? Because I would like my few $100s, please.
Yeah. And
Joan is like, tell you what, keep the skeleton foot.
Teddy's like, I need a pair of them if I'm going to sell them. They'll be my Fuji models. So Joan is like, wait a minute, he had you like follow this super dangerous guy? And he's like, yeah, I mean, he showed us his picture and he told us to like stay in public and like not, follow him into any buildings or alleys or anything. But to look for him. So we did. So anyway, Teddy's all set and Joan is waiting for Sherlock to come back and she sees the camera. And she's like, wait a fucking minute.
Oh, so Teddy had the picture of M, and Joan realized that it was a picture from inside the apartment, which means there had to be a camera. So she starts looking through the bookshelf, and she discovers the hollowed out book with the camera.
And then I think Teddy gets his money from Sherlock, and Sherlock comes into the apartment. And Joan is like, you want to explain this? And she's got the picture, and she's got 3 more security cameras.
Ooh.
And she's like, secret cameras, that she's found. And she's like, I'm sure I haven't found all of them, because you're fucking Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock is like, no, I would not like to explain. Thank you. I mean, he's really like, come on, this is like my sacred little place.
This is my sanctum sanctorum.
Yeah. You think I wouldn't put a couple cameras around here?
Yeah.
Come on, Joan.
Come on, every corner of every room.
Except the bathroom.
Yeah, in my bedroom, because I like privacy.
So, but I am going to wake you up, Joan, by standing at your bed.
Every morning?
Every morning.
What a piece of crap. You know what? I was going to say, I'm so glad you're not like that, but I just realized he's like that.
Yeah.
Bobo is like that.
Yeah. You don't need me to be like that.
Yeah, I already have that.
Balto is, yeah. You can't, like, wake up for a second, because then Balto would be like, huh? Are we up now?
If I wake up and I see him standing on the bed, I have to just close my eyes and pretend I'm asleep, or I'm going to get a tongue in the nostril.
He's being very good right now, though. He's just laying here. Oh.
Naked boy, he's got no collar on. Naked boy, he's a wild wolf.
As a quick interruption to the LMNOP episode, we'd like to update you on some Balto news. He did make a friend.
Yes, he made... I'll tweet this.
Okay.
Well, I'll send it to you and you can tweet it.
The video.
Yeah. We met another husky on one of our walks. Another gray husky, which for me has been very rare. I don't see a lot of them. Beautiful husky. His name's Kiro. He's 1 year old and full of energy.
Don't dox the puppy.
Sorry.
It's
His name is K, period.
Anyway, that's enough of Balto update for now. He is laying on the floor currently.
That's enough of an update. Here's a little more.
Yeah, he's got no collar on. Anyway.
Now back to your regularly scheduled LMNOP.
So Joan says to Sherlock, how did you know that he's at these fancy hotels? Why did you have these kids look at the hotels? And Sherlock is like, well, I sniffed.
Used my super sniffer.
Obviously.
Sniffed that note. Got a little high off the glue.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came back down, realized that it smelled like fancy soap.
And fancy shampoo.
And super fancy shampoo. And lots of places use fancy soap, lots of places use super fancy shampoo, but the only place to use both is the Bookadook Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Betancourt.
Sure.
So he says, me and each of my lieutenants, because that's how he pronounces lieutenants, because he's British.
Lieutenants. Fuck my right tenants.
Yeah. Well, they rent out the right side of the building.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only lieutenants. And they each took a bookie kook to try and find him. And he's like, and it worked, so I'm smart and I'm glad. And Jonah's like, wait a minute. If you had this picture of this guy and could smell where he was staying, why wouldn't you go to the police? Why wouldn't you report this? And Sherlock is like, well, because if the police caught him, they would arrest him. And that's not what I'm trying to do with him.
What? What are you trying to do, Sherlock?
Because he explains... I'll answer your question in a second.
Okay.
Sherlock explains... Remember Irene, who died?
Yeah.
He didn't take her death well?
Yeah, Sherlock's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Who's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Irene.
She was killed by M.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Murdered?
Mm-hmm.
By M?
Yes, to death.
Oh no. Is she okay?
No, she died.
She's dead.
So he's like, I'm not gonna capture him. I'm gonna torture him and then kill him.
Murder.
Gonna
murder him.
I'm gonna murder him until he dies. And Jonah's like, hey, you what?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Hey,
You can't!
that's illegal.
You can't do that.
And Sherlock's like, well, I'm going to. And I'm very excited about it. And I want to thank you for supporting me up until now.
Everything you've done has led me to this moment.
And he also explains that, her dying, he was, a casual drug user while he knew Irene. And then once she died and he was trying to find her killer and help the police, he was taking more and more stimulants and just getting further and further off the deep end and eventually became addicted to opiates. And
she was like, thank you for the backstory. Please don't murder.
Yeah.
Cool motive. Still murder.
And Sherlock is like, I was quite smitten with Irene. I liked her a lot. And Jonah's like, you still can't murder somebody. And as he's saying to Joan, like, thank you for everything you've helped me with, all these meetings you've taken me to, and all my sobriety has led me to this moment. He's literally, like, playing with a butterfly knife and then putting it in his jacket, and, like,
he's grabbed his medieval mace, and he's put that in his gym bag.
Yep. And he's like, I'm very clear-headed and focused, so I'm in the perfect state of mind to torture and murder. And Joan is like, that's why you didn't want me to look at the files about M, is because you knew I would notice Irene's name in there. And I would be the only one to make the connection. And Sherlock was like, well, yep.
Yeah, you smart.
She's like, okay, I have to call Gregson, though. And Sherlock says, you do what you have to do, I'm going to do what I have to do.
Which is torture and murder this guy.
Torture and murder this dollar store... Vin Diesel looking head ass.
Damn, Sherlock, you got him.
Oh, this is where Sherlock sees Teddy. I don't know what I guess he gives him money or something. I don't know. It's not important.
We get it. Teddy gets his money.
So then we see the woman that we saw earlier.
With the puppy.
With the little puppy. And the little puppy's going crazy.
Oh no.
Woof, woof, woof.
Barking. You know what that means?
What?
Somebody's inside the house. It's the only reason dogs ever bark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, sometimes the somebody who's inside the house is the dog. Like, Balto will bark because he's in the house.
Yeah.
There's some dogs in this house.
I hate when I'm done taking him for a walk and it started raining. And they got this wet-ass puppy.
But then the puppy stops barking. And she's like, what did you see? Wait a minute. And he's like chewing on this little dog treat or something.
Yeah.
But then she also notices that the kitchen door is open to the apartment. And she's like, wait a minute. Oh no. And then, somebody comes up from behind her, puts their hand on her mouth.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. So then we cut to Joan talking to Gregson. And Gregson says, I am pissed.
I am pissed. I have found out what has happened, and these are my emotions.
I'm caught up and I couldn't be more angry. Yeah. I am pissed. Gregson says, we gotta find him. We're gonna go scoop him up. And Joan is like, just so you know, like, you're probably gonna scoop up Sherlock when you do this also. And so we're back to the woman's house, and Arsenal is on TV again.
Football!
Now, here's the thing. Football.
Mm-hmm.
England is 4 hours later than America.
And it's nighttime in America.
It's nighttime in America, and there's a football game on. Where is he watching all of these Arsenal games?
Well, see, that's the other thing. He doesn't just murder all of these people. He also upgrades their cable package to get football all access. So he can watch any game, anytime.
But is it live?
No, that's what football all access is. It's any game that week.
It's on demand.
On demand. Just rewatch. They got the full game. They got the highlight reel, the clips.
But he seems surprised every time he watches them.
Well, because he's been busy planning a murder. He didn't get to see last night's Arsenal game, so he's just catching up now.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's a strange service he does for them. Cable service.
Well, it's a disservice because they're going to not have to pay for it.
Oh, yeah. And they die.
And they're dead.
Before they can even pay for it.
It's a double whammy.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, M stops in his, machinations because he sees that Sherlock is there. Sherlock is also at the apartment.
What?
Uh-huh. And M says, you.
And Sherlock says, me. And then he says, baton.
And he whacks him with a baton. And then we cut to a warehouse. And M is all tied up there. And Sherlock he doesn't look happy. He doesn't look healthy.
Well, he just tied up this dollar store butthead Vin Diesel. And he's like chained up. He's off the ground. Mm-hmm. Arms separated to each side, wingspan, feet tied together. This guy's not going anywhere.
Nope. And Sherlock has this big, long array of weapons and such. And a little beehive, too.
Yeah. And a little snapping turtle. He's gonna get you.
Gonna.
A ream of paper, torturing a lemon.
Oh. Mean. Cruel. Horrible. Sherlock is like, I was thinking of incorporating the bees, but then I thought maybe you're allergic, so then I wouldn't be able to torture you as long. And I was like, why are you doing this?
So instead, I'm going to use their honey and wax your chest hair.
Not the beeswax?
Shit.
So Sherlock is like, you know why. It's because you killed Irene Adler. And Emma's like, no?
No, didn't.
I didn't do that. And Sherlock is like, oh, you would say that.
Yeah, because you're tied up and you think I'm going to kill you, because I am. Just lying to me.
You're not a good liar.
Yeah.
And Emma's like, no, I'm pretty sure I didn't do that one. I was in jail at the time.
I was locked up for a pub brawl.
Pub brawl.
Pub brawl.
Pub brawl.
A pub brawl. I was wearing overalls in a pub, which, as everyone knows, is illegal in the great United Kingdom.
Pub brawls.
Pub brawl. Mm-hmm. That's 6 to 8 months. And during that 6 to 8 months, Irene Adler was murdered.
Mm-hmm. And Sherlock's like, you're lying. You're lying.
No, just check with the jail. They'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. So Sherlock is maximum Gumpy now. And so now Captain and Joan are in the hospital talking to the victim, the woman that M was gonna, murder.
Yeah.
From the blood thing that he does.
She's all up in a hospital bed. Her dog is in a tiny little hospital bed next to her.
Mm-hmm. He's got a little robe on.
Yeah.
He was naked before, but they put him in a hospital gown.
He got a little cast on his tail.
Everyone has signed it. He has a little morphine drip that he keeps pressing. He's in horrible pain. Just kidding. The puppy is fine. So this victim is explaining what happened. And she's like, this one guy who was terrible put on the soccer game and then started, hanging me up on the thing and everything. And then the second guy came in and they fought and he came back and he said he was going to cut me loose, but that I wasn't allowed to look at him and that I should wait 10 minutes to call the police, please.
Yeah.
He said
please.
He said please.
He's so nice.
Mm-hmm. Civility is really important these days. It's gotten lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not
A sweet young man.
We all have to be like this.
The world needs more Sherlock Holmes.
And she says,
he was wearing shoes.
Yes.
And his shoes were covered in donut powder.
Mm-hmm.
Or
baking
cocaine.
powder. Uh-huh.
Or baking powder.
Or baking powder, or baking soda.
Or maybe unmelted snow.
Or flour. Or prop snow.
Ooh.
Or maybe,
maybe he was just wearing white shoes, and I misremember.
Maybe it was white shoes covered in brown paint, except for little white splotches
that
look like powder. Or maybe it's the remnants from a paper shredder.
Uh-huh.
You ever get there's paper sand dust, basically.
Yeah. Or maybe it was sand from the sands of Ibiza.
You sound cultured. Ibiza.
I've seen Spain on a map.
You've seen how it's spelled with a TH. So Joan is like, I know where he is. I saw a picture of a property where there was a bunch of construction and white powder that he was looking at on the web. So I think it's one of his father's properties is where he's at. Maybe he wasn't moving. Maybe he was scouting a place to hang up this guy.
She's so smart.
She is very smart and good at investigating. She should do it for a living. So Sherlock is back in the warehouse torturing M, and he's like, so why'd you follow me to New York City? Or I don't know. I don't remember what it is, but he's like talking to M, and M is like, when did you come to New York? I didn't know you lived in New York now. I didn't know that you were even here.
Yeah, I thought you were still in London.
Why would I, huh? And he explains.
Sherlock's like, you've been in my apartment.
Emma's like, that was your
He was like, I've been in a apartment, yeah.
I've been in one apartment. I didn't know it was yours.
So he starts splaining?
He starts explaining. He's like, I'm not a serial killer. I'm an assassin, which is a serial killer who gets paid.
Yeah.
So M says, I get paid by my boss to kill these people. I get told how to do it. And he sends me coded messages on my phone. You can look at my phone. And Sherlock goes to his phone in the guy's jacket. And he's like, okay, so you sent gibberish to someone who sends gibberish back. That was not very convincing.
Proves nothing.
Yeah. And that also, that explains why his victim profile is, all over the map. Is because he's not a serial killer who's doing it, because he's got to.
Yeah.
He's being paid, and somebody else is picking who he's killing. And then he says, my name is Sebastian Moran.
More like Sebastian Moron.
More like Sebastian Moron. More like sea bass. Tan moron. He's a fish who's been out in the sun and he's stupid. Boom.
Yeah.
And then he says, I didn't kill Irene. My name is Sebastian Moran. You can look up when I was in prison, when I got arrested. It was in the papers.
He's like, dude, I've killed so many people.
So many.
I've killed so many people. I murdered all of them with my murder hands. I didn't kill Irene, though. So, sorry, bro.
That's it. That was the work of Moriarty.
Oh, shoot. Moriarty?
Moriarty has entered the chat.
Wow. Who's that?
I don't know.
I can't wait to find Moriarty about it.
So, Joan and Captain figure out that it's this Brooklyn loft that has...
Excuse me, Belle figures it out. Belle has been talking to DPW guys and construction permit people.
My apologies to Belle. He
Yeah.
is in this episode.
He's doing paperwork, but it's important.
So now M is, like, mad at Moriarty because he's like, what the fuck? Why would Moriarty frame me for this?
Yeah.
What is the plan behind all this? And Sherlock's like, no, you did it. I found who killed Irene and it's you and you did it.
Yeah, Sherlock is not having this. He does not like the answer to this puzzle.
No. I mean, it's frustrating. It's scary.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, imagine you've been working on a jigsaw puzzle for 3 years, and you finally finish it, and you come to realize that entire puzzle is just one puzzle piece in a bigger puzzle.
damn,
Yeah.
that's deep.
Yeah. Puzzleception.
It's true. And M says, Moriarty says you like puzzles, and he's the biggest puzzle, and I'm a clue. So if you kill me, you're losing a clue to your big puzzle.
You don't want to give up your biggest clues.
Checkmate. And Sherlock says, if you look at a statistic, you don't know what an individual man is going to do, but you do know what the average man is going to do on average. But I'm an individual, so I'm going to stab you in the stomach. And he does. I don't really understand why he says this speech.
Dramatic flair. Do you not understand the context of it, the content of the speech, or why he does it?
Yeah, like, why is he saying... Is he saying, like, you might think you know what I'm going to do because... You might think that would be enough for me to let you go because that's the normal...
Yeah. Well,
smart
I
thing
think
to
part
do.
of it is, what he says later to Joan is he's like, he thought he knew me, and I'd prove him wrong. It's like you don't have me figured out.
Right.
You might know what a normal person would do in this situation, but I've got a big brain, and
An ice pick.
I'm going to use it to stab you.
With my ice pick.
It's a pretty good ice pick.
Yeah. It's a Chekhov's ice pick, because you do see him pick it up from the apartment earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Captain and Joan finally arrive at this loft that Sherlock has been keeping M, and there's nobody there. And
Except for some blood on the floor.
Yes.
12 drops of blood.
Yeah, it's not pints.
It's not 12 pints.
And
This guy would probably have like 14 pints.
the average man has 10 to 11, but he's not the average man either. And then Captain gets a call from Bell, and he's like, he what? You gotta be kidding me. And he's like, Joan, we gotta get back in the car because Sherlock and M just walked into the station 5 minutes ago.
Holding hands!
Yeah, like the little emoji of two guys holding hands. They look exactly like that. So M is in the interrogation room, and he's like, actually, Sherlock was a perfect gentleman. He did not commit any crimes. I lured him to this apartment where I entrapped the woman, and then he followed me to the warehouse because I continued to lure him. And the reason that I got stabbed in the stomach with an ice pick was because I dared him to.
I spun the bottle.
I spun the bottle and it was my turn.
And after our 7 minutes in heaven, he's like, yeah, no, I attacked him. And he defended himself like a noble gentleman.
And also, I would like to confess to 37 murders, please.
36.
36 murders, please. So now Joan goes into the interview room that Sherlock is sitting in. It's like the nicer one. It's got a couch and stuff.
Behind the double mirror.
No, it's not connected to the interrogation room.
Oh, that's just a different room?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the conference room.
Oh, yeah, because they closed the door, because privacy.
Yeah. And Sherlock is like, he looks like he's rebooting. Like, he's just sitting with his forearms on his thighs, just like sitting straight, looking straight, hands on his knees, you know?
Yeah.
Just thanking
Well,
thonks.
Lots to process.
And so Joan is like, that stab really didn't look like he came at you and you were fighting. It seemed like, you didn't hit any of his vital organs at all. It kind of seemed like maybe he was stationary and you stabbed him. Like maybe he was tied up. Like maybe you were tying him up so you could torture him and kill him.
Maybe.
And Sherlock's like, that's not what I heard.
She's like, but it's pretty impressive. If that is what you were trying to do, that you didn't hit any of his vital organs. Because I'm a surgeon. I don't know if I would have been able to do that.
That's a staple of, crime shows. Is like, and they didn't hit any vital organs. Because, There's an episode of Criminal Minds where a guy gets stabbed like 40 times and doesn't hit any vital organs.
It's all based off of Jet Li's Hero, or the other one. There's a movie that he's like a samurai, and he fights another samurai, and he stabs him, and so he wins the fight, but he doesn't hit any of the organs because he respects that samurai. Or something. I don't know. I watched it when I was 7.
All right. It's pretty good memory, I would assume. I haven't seen it at all, so...
Yeah.
You remember more of it than I do. Infinity times more.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
So Sherlock says that he knows that M didn't kill Irene. And he's kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Yeah, he called the prison, figured out he was there. Couldn't have been him.
He's like, deduction, makes a science of almost everything. But this is that little spot that's not covered by the science of deduction. So I'm lost as hell.
He's like, man, I feel just as stupid as you must feel on a daily basis.
And Joan leans over and, touches his wrist comfortingly.
Yeah.
Which is, appropriate. Sherlock wouldn't want to hold hands or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says to her, I'm gonna miss this. Not this, but this. I think what you do is amazing. Which is what she said to him about detecting. And he's saying it to her about being a person and comforting him.
Yeah, it's really sweet. It's so sweet! And I don't want the relationship to end.
Me neither.
But her time is up.
Well, but Joan doesn't want it to end either.
How do you know that?
Because she immediately, once Sherlock leaves this room, calls Sherlock's dad. And she says, I'm worried about your son. I think I should stay on.
Yay!
Yeah! Yay! He might relapse! No. Do you think that she's worried about him in terms of, his sobriety?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. But I think if this whole M thing hadn't happened, I still think she would have called and been like, I want to stay on.
And there was, no threats to his sobriety in this episode at all.
No. I mean, the only thing you could say is that with this and with the history of Moriarty and Irene...
It could be a triggering memory to bring back, yeah.
Exactly.
Balto has re-entered the living room and is playing with his rubber bone, and he bonks.
It's the quietest he can be.
Mm-hmm. He's doing his best. Not that he knows that we're recording a podcast. Do you think if he did know, he would be respectful of it? Or do you think he would want to be on it?
Oh, he'd want to be on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You and I can't even hug without him sticking his nose where it doesn't belong.
I bet he would, if he could understand what we were doing. I think if he would try to bark in the background in a way that would communicate to listeners, they're not feeding me! They're not feeding me and they never take me out! I have to leave right now, everyone. Someone please take me on a WALK. It would just be like, yeah, I really like the way that Joan... They're not feeding me! I'm so hungry!
They're not feeding me as much as they should be feeding me!
Which is all the time!
Always!
Sometimes my bowl is empty! Yeah, because he knows that he gets fed.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think that it's enough, which... No. Do you think that there would be an amount of times you could feed him where he would be like, okay, I'm good?
I mean, there are definitely times where he doesn't eat all of the food that's in his dish. It's not often, but it happens. And I think if I were to feed him, 5 times a day, I don't think he would eat half of the time. What
would happen if you replenished it after every time he ate it?
He would probably eat another half of it, and then leave the rest, and then maybe, an hour or so later, nibble on it.
I had a roommate who did that for her dog, but he kept eating it, and he ate, 3 bowls worth, dog bowls worth. Yeah. And then was, laying around bloated the rest of the day. And, had a dog stomach ache or whatever. And she was like, you didn't have to do that. I don't know why you did that.
What if I never get this food again?
Yeah. He's like, what if they're giving me all of this because it's the last of it? Anyway, Balto's very well fed and gets taken out a lot.
Yeah, because I have to move my car every 2 hours because we live in the city and I don't have a driveway. And I figured I could use the company. He also, honestly, the best part about it is how many car rides he gets. I just put all the windows down, and sometimes I just need to move a street over, but, I'll do a couple laps.
Aww.
Just because he loves the wind in his fur.
He's so cute. He looks very majestic when he sticks his head out the window like that. He looks like a little worm in an apple. In a cartoon.
Yeah.
So we're almost done with the episode.
Yeah, so close.
Sherlock's sleeping on the couch.
It's morning.
It's morning.
Joan gets a text.
Joan gets an email.
Well, yeah. You're 100% right, but it's on her phone.
Yeah. And it says, thank you for your concern, but no.
Signed, Mr. Holmes.
Love, Moreland Holmes. Yeah, so he's like, I'm not concerned about Sherlock. I'm not extending your stay. And Sherlock's like, what's up? And Joan says, that was your father. He agreed. I'm going to stay on.
I'm staying.
I'm staying. I'm staying. And you.
Me?
You're gonna teach me how to be a detective. Oh, yes.
And that's the episode.
Well, the butt end of the episode is Sherlock taking down all of the crime scene photos and evidence and stuff of everything that he's got on the mantle, and he puts up a new thing for a new case that he's working on. It's just a single index card that says,
Moriarty.
That's the episode.
That's the episode.
What did you think?
Well, for the third time, I liked it.
Well, I liked it too.
It's great. Moriarty is the whole thing. It's the bad guy of Sherlock Holmes.
The bad guy.
The bad dude.
I gotta say, I don't really care about long plots like Moriarty stuff. But they do it really well in Elementary.
Honestly, I like Moriarty and BBC Sherlock better.
4th season BBC Sherlock?
No. But the first 3 seasons. I mean, especially the first season. Well, yes, actually the first season.
True.
The first season, the reveal of who Moriarty is
pretty good.
Is pretty freaking good.
It's pretty good. Is it better than this reveal of who Moriarty is?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen 12 episodes of Sherlock.
Oh, yeah?
Elementary.
Were you born 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the world.
Thank you.
Well, as a seasoned veteran, I can say... I won't say.
It's Captain Gregson!
Fuck! They never ask what his first name is!
It's Captain Moriarty Gregson. How did you not... I guess it's Tommy. It's Captain Thomas.
It's Tommy Gregson, yeah. Tommy Moriarty Gregson. So, that was our episode of LMNOP.
Woo! Woo! We got a dozen in the bag.
Fuck yeah. Just like these Gansets. Nope.
I don't know what that means.
Narraganset's kind of beer.
Nor do I want to.
Well, now you do.
I blanked.
I'm gonna cut this.
Huh?
So, that's our episode. Thank you all for listening. Thank you to Noisepace.xyz for hosting us. Thank you to Noah Geist and Summer Geist for our podcast intro music and art, respectively.
And thank you, costume designer of Elementary.
Thank you for everything you do. If you'd like to talk to us, engage with us, you can go to our Twitter at LMNOPcast, and you can either tweet us or use our pinned tweet to join our Discord.
Ooh.
Where we have all kind of fun Sherlock emojis, and we'll find a Joan one.
Just Joan with a knife. I'm a surgeon.
Not anymore. And you can find me, Val Flightcub, on Twitter at FlightCubB. The second B stands for B, period.
And you can find me by going to your local Halloween store, buying a cauldron, and then putting in the following ingredients. Eyes of newt, tails of newt, body of newt, Gringitch.
Are you a newt?
I'm Newt Gringitch.
Gingrich?
I don't care.
Yeah, fuck him, honestly. Thank you all for listening. This marble, for the 10th time, will keep on rolling.
Goodbye.
Arrivederci.